Thank you so much for joining us today. We will begin our practice lying down on the back. So taking your legs long, your arms long. You can close your eyes here if that feels good. And let the bones get heavy and drop down, allowing the weight of the bones to fall. Allow the muscles to feel nice and light, as if they're draped over the bones. And then start to use your skin to take in information. Noticing where your body meets the floor, and even if one side feels a little heavier or possibly a little lighter. Maybe one side might sit a little higher or even a little lower. We don't need to adjust or move around. We just notice where we're at. And let's take the temperature of the air. Sense the texture of your clothing. Let go of your jaw, let it hang. And drop the eyes. Smooth across your eyebrows. And release all the muscles beneath the scalp. Noticing your breath here, begin to coax your breath out of hiding. Creating a three-dimensional breath, so not just the top and bottom, but also out to the sides. Also into the front and the back. So it's as if you're breathing spherically, filling all parts of your lungs. And we use our attention to follow the breath from the very beginning of the inhale to the very end of the exhale. Noting the sensations that follow in between. And we'll keep the same level of inward attention as we practice today. Become aware of your right foot. Without leaving the floor, pull your right heel tight. So pull your toes back towards your shin, very subtle movement. So you're flexing your foot. Then slide your heel forward. Slide your heel forward so you'll feel your right hip go down with it. So the right hip slips down. You're flexing your right foot a lot. Breathe into your belly here. Exhale, relax completely. Pause and notice how that felt on one side. Second side, pull your left toes towards your shin. Slide your left hip away, or left heel rather, away from you. The hip will follow. Now, as you do, breathe into your belly. Exhale, relax completely. Picking up the pace a bit. Slide your right heel down, pull the toes in, inhale. Exhale, rest. Left heel slides down, toes pull back, inhale. Exhale, rest. And go ahead and take one or two more like that on your own. So we're finding an up slip, down slip of the hip. And we're using the foot as well to loosen up the psoas muscle. Now your psoas attaches the hips to the first rib, crosses from the front to the back of your body, and plays a big role in our ability to articulate our spine. So those of us that sit a lot throughout the day, the psoas can start to feel a lot tighter, a lot more ropey. Next time you're balanced on both sides, come on back to center and be still. Take a moment in stillness. Notice any extra heat you might have built. All right, slide your feet in so they're towards your hips. Ground them down, and we'll clasp the hands behind the skull. Clasp your hands, now arch your spine. So if I were there, I could slide my hand underneath your low back and be able to clear it. Arching your spine, you'll feel your chin go towards your chest. Now press your elbows toward the floor. You'll feel that really light up the back body. I like to drop the balls of the feet into the ground here so the heels might lift slightly. This is your inhale, fill it up. Exhale, release and rest. Now draw your elbows towards each other, almost as if they could touch, and begin to roll your spine up, rounding your spine, elbows towards the knees, and give yourself a little rounding in the low back so you're turning your tail up towards your knees, meaning your hips might lift up off the floor an inch. This is our exhale. Go ahead and pull out the air. Inhale, relax, set everything down. Okay, we'll put this into a vinyasa. Inhale, arch your spine, elbows down, maybe chin towards the chest. Exhale, elbows towards each other, round your spine. Inhale, elbows open, spine arches. Exhale, elbows together, spine rounds and lift. Continue, cruise through a few of these on your own. So we're using this action to massage the upper back, that sticky thoracic spine. Starts right at the base of your neck and goes 12 vertebrae down. Using this action to loosen up that space. And so as you warm up, you might even add a little side bend here. Taking your elbows towards one leg, rolling down. And taking equal bends on each side. If you're doing those side bends, I like to take it at a little bit different of a degree with each one. So you're massaging a different part of the upper back. And it's really tempting to rush through these, right? Especially since it feels good to massage the spine. But I encourage you, if you are the kind of person who rushes, busy, then intentionally slow yourself down. Slowing down starts with the breath. Go ahead and take one more on each side if you're doing the side bends. Next time you're balanced out, you can come on back to center. We'll release the legs long, the arms long. You can pause and be still. Take a moment here to feel. All right, folks, knees in, cross your heels. You can rock up and down, have some fun with it. See if you can iron out all your back. Take 2 or 3, and we'll come into tabletop, all fours. In your tabletop, stack your hands right below your shoulders, knees right below the wrists. So you're here in your tabletop. Now we're going to do like kind of a cat-cow, but in 3 parts. So first, starting with just your tail, turn your tail up, arching just your low back. Keep your upper back neutral. That's our inhale. Exhale, start with your tail, slowly round your spine under, turning your tail toward the ground. Upper back stays neutral. Take 2 more like that. Inhale, tail turns up. Exhale, slide under. 1 more like that on your own. And let's make sure we're pressing our index and thumb down so that we're not dumping into the wrists too much. All right, now we'll add in the mid-spine. So inhale, turn your tail back slowly, one at a time with the vertebra. Find a little bit of arch here into the mid-back. Chest stays neutral. You might have to push into your hands more to make that happen. Start with your tail, round your spine, turn it down. Find that rounded spine towards the mid-back. And take 2 more like that on your own. So we're using this to experiment and explore what vertebrae can move independently and which vertebrae are more fused together. All right, back into your neutral spine. Let's take it the whole way, a little slower than your typical cat-cow. Start with your tail, one vertebra at a time. As you start to get to your upper back, squeeze your shoulders together. Use your hands to pull your chest forward. Use your hands to pull your chest forward. I know for me, I notice one arm is working more than the other. And so I'm going to use my brain to balance that out. Once you are in your upper back, tilt your chin up for the very last. As you tilt your chin up, find an underbite, send your jaw forward. Exhale, put your jaw back where it belongs. Start with your tail as you turn your tail down. Slowly. Rounding your spine now. As you take it into your upper back this time, feel your shoulder blades spread apart and your heart go toward the ceiling. Lastly, bring your chin towards your chest. Find a really weird overbite. Send your jaw back, your upper jaw forward. Start with your tail. Take, I don't know, say 2 more like this on your own. Slow motion cat-cows. Giving extra attention to the upper back. In your cow, feel your heart pull forward, your shoulder blades squeeze together. Option to find the underbite if you'd like. And each action starts with your tail. And although this is a symmetrical movement, you might notice some of the asymmetries in your own body. Notice if one side feels a little faster, a little more eager. One side is lagging behind. And we just notice, right? Don't need to change it or judge it, just notice. Last round. Next time you are done with your cat pose, next time you're done with your cat, you can take a seat into child's pose. Lengthen your arms forward. You might open and close your hands a few times, make some fists, let them go. And from your child's pose here, slide your hands about halfway in. Slide your hands about halfway in and then take your right hand onto your low back. So I've got my right hand onto my low back, and you can take your the palm to the sacrum or the back of the hand. It depends on what you need. Ideally palm to sacrum, but not required. Notice the arch in your spine here. Now I'm going to slightly scoop my tail under so I have more of a neutral low back. More of a neutral low back. And on an inhale, turn your chest open to the side. So you're pushing your bottom index and thumb down, and then reaching your top elbow back behind you. You might notice your right hip wants to lift up. Let it drop back down. We'll take an inhale here. Exhale, close the chest, turning to face down. Nice job, y'all. Go ahead and take 2 more like this on your own. I find it helpful to really drop the shins down as you do this. using the anchoring of the low body to help twist and mobilize the upper body. And then once you're done with your 2, slide back into child's pose, rest your forehead for a moment. Second side, slide your hands about halfway in. So you're in like a child's pose meets tabletop. Then take your left hand onto your low back, maybe the palm toward the sacrum. If that's too intense, then back of hand. Now as you drop your shin bones down and take the curve out of your low back, so dropping your tail under, then turn your chest open to the left. You can look over your shoulder if you want to get the neck involved. Make your bottom arm like down dog, so dropping index and thumb and even turning your bicep forward. So we're holding this first one to get a feel for it. Is your left hip lifted? Can you drop your left hip down more? We'll take an inhale here. Exhale with control, slowly close your chest to face the ground. 2 more like that. Inhale, revolve open. Use your cervical spine, your neck to look back. Exhale, close down. 1 more on your own, slow and steady. Whew. All right, when you're done, child's pose, take rest. In your own time, go ahead and lift up into downward facing dog. Now in your downward facing dog, feel your hands press down and forward, your feet press down and back. Surrendering your head, allowing it to hang. And keeping in mind that it's more than okay to bend your knees. With your heels dropping down, it doesn't mean they have to be down, right? So just creating the weightedness through the feet. You've got a few breaths here, so if there's any ritual movements that you like to take, feel free to do so. Come back to stillness when you're ready. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Step to the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen your sternum forward. Exhale and fold. Heel toe your feet a little bit wider than your hips. Put a soft bend in your knees and grab hold of opposite elbows. Allow your elbows to be heavy. Inhale the front of your body longer. Exhale, back of the body softer. Now shift all the weight into your right foot. Press your right foot way down into the ground. Come back through center, then shift all the weight into your left foot. Push your left foot way down into the ground. And come on back to center. Release your hands to your waist, bring your elbows towards each other. Bend your knees as you slowly come up to stand. You can bring your feet back to hip distance apart, finding mountain pose at the top of your mat. We're going to take a standing spinal undulation. Standing spinal undulation. So with your feet hip distance apart, round your spine forward. As you bend your knees, come into like an awkward fold. Resting your chest towards, if possible, onto your thighs. And I'll come to the side so you can see a little bit better. Now here in this weird fold, with your knees bent, take your index and thumb together and place them right at your ankle bone here. And I want you to pretend you've got zippers on each side of your body. Now as you round your spine, start to zip your fingers up your legs. Zip your fingers up your legs. Keep rounding as you're coming up kind of into a standing position. Zipping your hands all the way up towards your armpits. Keep your chin towards your chest. Once your legs are straight, roll your arms forward with your palms face up, so you're in more of a standing position. With your palms facing up, inhale your arms up. They can go wide if they need to. Begin to bend your knees, bend your elbows, return your zipper hands right at your armpits, and roll your spine in and down. So elbows come forward, zip your hands back down the sides of your body. I know this is weird, it's supposed to be. Down toward the ground. We'll take one more like that. Zip your fingers up, staying really rounded. Your elbows might come forward as you do this. Pushing down through your feet as you come to standing, elbows in, elbows in. Then open your arms, straighten them out and forward. Inhale your arms up. They can go wide if they need. We'll make our way back down. Bend your knees, bend your elbows. With your hands towards your armpits, start to round your spine, elbows forward, zipping your fingers down toward the ground. Come back to where things make sense. Inhale to your half lift. Step back to plank pose, pause in your plank. Bring your feet together, and with your heels stacked right over the balls of your feet, squeeze your two legs together. Now curl your tailbone under so you're rounding your spine almost like a cat back here. Are you pressing through your index and thumb, and can you ground them more? Last breath or two here, warming up our plank pose. Inhale. Come forward to the tips of your toes, drop your knees. Exhale, lower all the way down. Untuck your toes, push the tops of your feet down. Inhale to a gentle cobra. Feel your chest pull forward, your hands might even pull back. Exhale and lower down. Two more like that. Inhale to cobra, maybe a little bit higher this time. Exhale, release. Last one. First, push through the tops of your feet, then lift. Exhale, release, downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward. Spin your back foot down, so it's like you've got warrior one in the legs. Now walk your hands forward for down dog lunge. So your right hand is in line with your right foot. See if you can bend your right knee a little deeper as you push your right knee out to the side. Just like down dog, hands down forward, feet down back. Check in with your neck if you're tightening it up. See how it feels to let it go. Your head will not fall off, I assure you. We haven't had that happen yet. Last few breaths. Inhale. Walk your hands back in. Switch it out. You might try a jump switch if you're feeling active today. Sliding your back foot down, just like warrior one in the legs, bending your front knee. Then you can slide your hands forward to your down dog lunge. And while you're here, notice what parts of your feet are trying to lift up off the ground. So for me, it's like the outer edge of the back foot wants to lift, so I really got to press that. Then the inner ball of the front foot always wants to lift, got to press that back down. So if you're in more into one part of the foot than the other, play with balancing that out. And even if it's just an idea, eventually the ideas become actions. Last few breaths here. Inhale. Walk your hands back in, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Step to the front, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold, squeeze your belly towards your legs. Inhale to stand, reach your arms up. Exhale, bend your knees enough to touch the earth. Stay really low with your hips, chair pose, lifting the arms up. You can look down, see if you can see your toes. If not, pull your knees back. And take a peek with your mind's eye at your low back. If you've got the tail turned out, see if you can take the curve out and be more neutral through the spine. Inhale. Exhale, open arm twist to the right, reaching your fingers in opposite directions. This is going to be a good place for some of us to stay, so hang out with it. Or join your palms together and take your left elbow outside of your right knee. As you tone and turn your abdomen towards the right, see if you can hug your right elbow back a bit, so it's not too far out there. Notice which foot is working harder than the other. Play with balancing it out. Last breath or two. Inhale. Exhale, come through chair pose, stay low. Inhale, open arm twist to the left. Stay here or join your palms together, right elbow outside the knee. Toning and to turn your abdomen toward the left. If you're connecting the hands, really push them into each other. Use that to complete the circuit of energy within you. Take note of the feet. Bring softness behind the face. Last breath or two, sit a little lower. Inhale. Exhale, chair pose. Deep breath in to sit low. Forward fold, exhale. Nicely done, folks. Inhale to your half lift. Step back to plank pose. Exhale, lower, option for your chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Create the sensation of pulling chest forward. And exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward. With your back foot down, come up into warrior one. So in warrior one, we've got a deep bend into the front knee. And just like in our cat-cow pose, feel your tail turn out a bit. And then see if you can scoop it under. Once you've got that scoop, re-bend the knee. Inhale the arms up if you have not already. Reaching through the tips of the fingers to lengthen the sideways. All right, let's find some movement here. Take your arms to cactus. On an inhale, squeeze your shoulders to arch your spine, almost like cow. Exhale, round everything in. Elbows come to touch, just like cat. Inhale, open. You might even bring in your cervical spine, chin up. Exhale, close. Option to round your chin down. Take one more like that on your own. You got this. Keep your back leg strong as you go. After the elbows touch, inhale, arms straight up, warrior one. Exhale, release it down. Switch it out. You can jump switch if you like. Your back foot down, inhale, warrior one. Make your back leg really strong, toning the underbelly of the back thigh. Reach your arms straight up, lifting through the sides of the waist. Focus the eyes. Be aware of the sensation of your breathing. All right, let's put it into movement. Arms to cactus. Inhale, send your heart forward. Squeeze your shoulders tight. Maybe chin goes up. Exhale, round. Curl everything in. Inhales, open. Exhales, round. Last one on your own, slow and steady. Next time your elbows are touching, inhale your arms straight up. Exhale, release the hands down. Step back to downward facing dog. Either stay in your down dog or wash it down with a vinyasa. From your down dog, inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Step or float to the front, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, release the arms down. All right, nice work job. Nice work job. Nice work, folks. Take a big step back so you've got more of a wide stance going on. Here in your wide stance, bring your feet to face forward and take your arms out to a T. Now as you bend your right knee slightly, you're going to turn your left hand somewhere towards that right leg. So for some of us, it might be thigh, maybe shin, it might even be the ankle. Pausing here, turn your chest open like you're trying to stack your shoulders. Reaching your top hand toward the ceiling, finding a little bit of a lift through the left hip crease. Inhale here. Exhale, come back to center. Straighten the legs. Gentle bend into your left knee. Start to take your right hand somewhere on that left leg, wherever works for you. Use your strength to turn your chest open, stacking your shoulders, maybe even taking your eyes up, cervical spine, yeah. Use your inhale to feel the right hip crease lift a little as you stack deeper. Stay for the exhale. Inhale, come on back to center. Pause, rest your arms. So we're gonna come in and out of this a few times on each side. I get really stuck in the like breath promotion, right? It's kind of the habit. If you wanna stay an extra breath, stay an extra breath. If you wanna skip a breath, skip a breath. So we're gonna be doing this for a bit, but I want you to do what you need to do. So we'll start on our inhale, arms wide. Bend your right knee and exhale and twist. Continue, you can inhale up if you'd like. Exhale to the other side. Now cruise through these at your own pace. If you need the extra breath, pause for an extra breath. Feel yourself tightening the alignment. If you need to skip a breath and stay standing for an extra one, please do. But one thing I really like to notice when I do this is the shift in weight in the feet. And I like to ask myself, can I use my feet like little levers? Can I use the grounding of the feet to help even twist more into the spine? Go ahead and take one more on each side. Next time you're standing at the center, make sure your feet are parallel. They might have moved around. And exhale, fold yourself forward and down. All right, so you've got your hands right below your shoulders. If your spine is super rounded, you'll bend your knees to flatten it out. If you're able to get your spine flat and your knees straight, then walk your hands between your feet and fold yourself forward. Just like down dog, hands press down forward, feet press down back. Feel the inner thighs spinning back behind you. Hip bones lifting high toward the ceiling. Last few breaths here. And we'll inhale to half lift. Go ahead and walk your hands toward the foot facing the front of your mat. Step yourself back to plank pose, either vinyasa or down dog. Pausing in your down dog, create some stillness, check in once more. Then rolling yourself forward into a plank pose, lower all the way down to your belly, and slide your elbows forward a bit. Slide your elbows forward. Take your right forearm in line with the short edge of your mat. And I'm kind of lifting the chest. It's a little bit of a cobra pose. Press the tops of your feet down. Bend your left leg and then reach your hand back. Now, if you're not able to grab your foot, that's okay. If you can't grab your foot, squeeze the back of your knee shut and lift your knee up off the ground. So that's the work. If you can grab your foot, then press your heel towards your bottom. Heel towards your bottom, sliding your bent knee way back behind you. You might even press your hips down. You can even push your foot against your hand so there's resistance between the two, which feels very interesting. Yeah, we'll go with interesting. Last few breaths here. Inhale. Exhale, release. Take one hand on top of the other, rest your forehead. Let the heart rate start to slow. Then lifting your head, can take your hands back out where we had them in this kind of elongated Sphinx pose. Then take your left hand in line with the short edge of the mat, press your hips down, and bend your right knee. So option to squeeze the back of your right knee, lift your knee up off the ground. That's where some of us will stay. Others, you can reach your right hand back and start to press your heel to your bottom. Friends with hand to foot, slide your bent knee back behind you so you're getting really long through the bent knee. You can even push your foot into your hand, find resistance. Which the first few times I tried to do that, my brain was just not on board. My brain was not able to relay the message to my body. So if you are encountering a lack of communication there, then that's to be expected. It's okay. That's why we practice. Last breath or two. Inhale. Exhale to release. Stack one hand over the other. Rest your forehead. Okay, take your arms alongside of you with the backs of your hands to the ground. Close your fingers as you press the backs of your hands into the floor. Now lift your right toes, slide them back a bit, set it back down. Lift your left toes, slide them back, set them down. Now press your hips down, take the curve out of your low back if possible. We'll inhale, lift your chest, squeeze the shoulders, pull your heart forward. So I'm not concerned with how high you get, but rather how long. Option to add the toes if you'd like. If you're going for strength, you'll bring your big toes to touch. Feel even the back of your skull lengthening away. And it's as if you're breathing into the back of your brain. Last few breaths. Inhale. On your exhale, float the hands, get a little higher. Exhale, release, rest your right cheek to the earth. And you probably notice an elevated heart rate. Back bends can be very exhilarating. Okay. Turn your chin to the mat. Take one hand underneath the or underneath your shoulders. Both hands rather, underneath your shoulders. Kind of like a weird cobra pose. Then bend your knees. Press your hips down. In fact, let's slide the hands back a bit. Squeeze your elbows towards each other, squeeze your back body. On an inhale, Pull your chest forward as you lift it up off the ground. Elbows are hugging, shoulder blades are hugging. Option to lift your knees. Some of us will stay here, others will reach the hands back to hover. Consider grabbing hold of your ankles. If you're lifting, or if you're holding your ankles, then pull your heart forward by holding into your hands. By kicking the foot into the hands, allowing the chest to go further forward. Can you breathe into the back of the brain? Feel the back of the skull rise. Last few breaths here. Inhale. Exhale, release. Rest your left cheek to the mat. Let your heels go side to side. Wonderful job, everyone. Can take child's pose. Rest your forehead. You might even take your arms alongside of you if you'd like. Honor, acknowledge any energetic changes in the body. Inhale, tabletop. And exhale, downward facing dog. Walk your hands back to meet your feet. With your knees bent and your spine rounded, start to roll yourself up to stand. Coming to Tadasana at the back of your mat. Okay, let's play with our balance. So in your mountain pose, let's warm up the feet a bit. Let's do hands to the waist. Lift up all 10 of your toes, spread them out. Set them down. We'll shift into the left foot. Lift your right knee up into your chest. Flare your toes out a lot, especially those last two toes. Your eyes are focused. Breathe your heart up and behind your heart down. Inhale. Exhale, release. Shift into your right foot, float your left foot. Flare your toes. Make your standing legs strong. You might even send your standing thigh bone back a bit. Inhale. Exhale, release. All right, now you can release your arms down. So we're gonna have lots of options here for our balance. So we can start with our feet hip distance. Bend your knees, touch the earth. Inhale to chair pose. Exhale your right knee to chest, hands to heart. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, left knee to chest, hands to heart. Inhale, chair pose. So you can stick with that, or we add, exhale, right knee to chest. As you slide your knee back, squeeze your heel to your bottom. Reach your hands back behind you. Some of us will stay here, others might grab hold of the ankle. Stay here or kick your foot into your hand. Find a standing bow variation. Standing legs strong. Pulling the chest forward. Resisting the foot in the hands. Inhale. Exhale, knee to chest, hands to heart. Nice work. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, left knee to chest, hands to heart. Stay here, or can take your knees towards each other. As you reach your hands back, squeeze the shoulders together. Stay here, or you might find your ankle in your hands. Stay here, or find your standing half bow. Kick your foot into your hands. Make your standing legs strong, lifting your aerial knee high. Maybe even flaring your aerial toes. Last breath or two here. If you fall out, come back in. Nicely done. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart, left knee to chest. Inhale, chair pose. Forward fold, exhale. Nicely done, everyone. Inhale to half lift. Step back to plank. Exhale through your final vinyasa. From your down dog, inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend and look forward. We'll step through to a seat with the legs straight out ahead. Whew, good news, made it to the floor. Let's bend your knees and take your left foot, or come into easy pose with your right leg in front. So easy pose is just crisscross applesauce. But instead of the heels being more crossed, you'll wiggle your feet to the side. So it's more like your heels in line with your knee. And this might be where you choose to stay here with your foot on the ground, or you can perch your foot onto a block, book, pillow, whatever you have handy, or stack your heel above your knee. But as long as your legs are crossed, it'll get the job done. From here, with your hands next to your knees, pull your heart forward as you drag your hands back. So it's almost like a cobra pose or an up dog in the chest. Great place to stay. If you're staying, flex your feet, push your feet down. Otherwise, if you want a little more, you'll start to lower maybe your forearms to the floor, pulling your elbows back towards your shins. And wherever you are, if you would like more sensation, bring your feet into the equation. Pressing outer edges down, pulling toes to shins. And be aware of where you feel the pose. Where is the sensation occurring? And guiding your breath into those spaces of sensation. Last few breaths here. If you want to play with it and walk your hands to one side or the other, you can try that. We'll inhale. Exhale, make your way back to your starting point. Release your cross. You can use your hands to help. Take both legs straight out, taking a breath or two in Dandasana, staff pose. Switch it out, taking the left foot in front this time. Find the variation that works for you. Maybe foot to floor, maybe foot onto a prop, possibly foot above the knee. With your hands in line with your knees, pull your hands back, send your heart forward. Find that cobra up dog action with your heart. One side might be different than the other, so you might decide to stay here, or you can explore lowering down, taking any variation that suits you. And of course, if you want to add a little sauce on it, you'll press the feet down and pull the toes back. And if you did on the other side, you might walk your hands to one side or the other. Whatever you're doing, making sure both hip bones are evenly dropping. Last few rounds of breath, whichever you're working on. Inhale. Exhale, release. You can come on back to center, both legs straight, pausing briefly in staff pose, taking a moment to feel. And with your knees in, let's roll onto the back. Here you can give yourself a little hug, a little rock side to side. With your arms out to the side, set your feet down. We'll lift the hips up and over to the right about 2 inches. With your hips to the right, drop your knees to the left. And let's bring the neck into it too. Look over your right shoulder. And let your breath fill up your low belly and your low back. Inhale. Exhale, come on back to center with your knees, your hips, your neck. Send your hips to the left 2 inches. As you look to the left, drop your knees to the right. Allow the weight of the bones to stretch the muscles. Inhale. Exhale, back to center. Happy baby pose. You can either hold inside your knees and drop your knees down. Please flatten your low back to the ground, regardless of what you do. Or hold on to the feet. And you're welcome to play with rocking around or even straightening the legs. And in your own time, release your legs long, your arms long. Come into Shavasana. And before we rest, make fists with your hands, crunch up your toes and let them go. Do that 3 to 5 times. You might even scrunch up your face, your jaw. And then arrive in stillness. And we have the opportunity here during this time to choose our internal atmosphere, to choose the feeling tone of our internal environment. And inevitably, this will be the place that we reside in between thoughts, in between activities. And you can choose to set whatever atmosphere suits you best. I will offer today an inner atmosphere of kindness, of compassion. For many of us, in between thoughts, we are in judgment. We are in analysis. We are in appraisal. And this can be exhausting. So instead, I invite you to resource a time where you have felt kindness, either given or received. And allow that memory to become a sensation. Move that sensation throughout your body. Meditate on its qualities, all of its details, while allowing the memory itself to fade away, leaving behind the felt experience. And we bask in its warmth. Enjoy the benefits it has to offer. I will wake you momentarily when we're through. Kindness is a practice. And compassion is a habit. May we recognize the atmosphere we set for ourselves. May we question our inner critic to impart more kindness, to become more compassionate. You can start to deepen your breathing, inviting little movements back into your body any way that feels natural for you. With your knees in, roll onto your right side. Take a pause to reset. And as you're ready, come up to a seat with your eyes closed and your palms joined together at the heart. Press your thumbs into your forehead, your third eye center. May our minds be a space of peace. Thumbs below the lips. May our words improve upon the silence. And thumbs connect with the heart. May we be an expression of kindness, and may our actions reflect compassion. Namaste. Thank y'all. Happy Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for joining us. It's so good to see you. I forgot to record last week, so I didn't post that because there was nothing to post. But I remembered to record this week. So this one will be up on my YouTube channel. The YouTube channel has these classes, our lunch classes, which are more harder. They're more challenging. And then it has our evening classes, which is like a restorative mobility, very chill if you're ever feeling sore. So just a reminder, you have those options. And then wdfitness.com has, if you go into their yoga section, there's little 30-minute videos here, which are super similar to what we do here. So Thank you so much for practicing with me. So much love to you all. Stay safe out there. Stay safe and stay kind.
Thank you.
Toodles.
Bye.
Bye, friends.
Thank you.
Bye.